Hi, Jay Smith from Model Aviation, and I'm here with Rhoe, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the Starduster 2 we have in front of us, in which he designed and built. So I guess to start out, how did you get the idea? Where did the inspiration come from?
My inspiration for this dude came from, purchased a set of plans from Model Builder, and Model Builder is no longer in existence. Actually, it was after they went out of existence, and just fell in love with the beautifulness of the thing, and thought, someday I'm going to sit down and build this thing. So probably 6 years ago, I started building a aerobatic one, and the wing got so twisted and warped that I threw it away and gave up. And then I build flat bottom wings better, so I got this together, and then I got started on the thing. And with the event of electric motors, you can put an electric motor, batteries, and all the stuff in it lighter than you can even do a gas with a tank.
You then modified the plans, is that right?
Yes, I did. This is a semi-scale model. The original Starduster 2, if I scaled it, would have a cowl and about this wide. We don't need to drag that much air around all the way back to here and then go into the tail. We don't need to drag that much air around. Probably wouldn't be that much drag. It had a headrest here, and if you can imagine how hard that would be to cover and go down and back and around and all that, I decided no, I'll just build a turtle deck. Because of past experience, I swept the bottom wing just like the top wing. On the real one, it would have had a straight leading edge. And whenever you sweep a bottom wing, to stall an airplane, the center has to stall on these before the tips can. 99% of the time it don't happen on a tip stall on these. The color scheme I got off of the internet, and I was going to do one with a design like this that goes out and then goes around like that. And I seen this one on the internet, and I said, wow, that's sharp, so I went with this. When you see the plans, I scaled the picture of the one off the internet to get all these dimensions.
So let's talk about just briefly the specifications. So what's the wingspan we're looking at on this phone?
Wingspan is 36 inches, 340 some square inches. Have it exactly on the plans. It'll be on the article also. Have just a touch over 7 ounces per square foot wing loading, which makes it super light. It weighs 15.5 ounces. And I was telling Jay earlier, I've done away in my modeling life with steerable tail wheels because I'm tired of changing servo gears all the time. And that's because of the way I fly. I'm kind of crazy. You know? So.
And you're using, right here you have the battery. You're using a 3-cell 800 milliamp hour battery? And tell us how you put the battery in. How do you access the battery?
You will have pictures, but I laid this thing down on the building bench on a couple pieces of balsa wood here and here, and I made like a U-shaped tray, comes up about this far. Then I made a second U-shaped tray that fits the other side. Put the two U-shaped trays together with a couple pieces of balsa wood, made it fit in here, and it's pretty simple to do. I like it better than Velcro because Velcro, it's always all over the place. This way, it fits in there with a little bit of resistance so it doesn't fall out if you're upside down or anything like that. Now, it probably would fall out if you crashed it straight in.
And obviously the way you have it set up, by putting the battery here in the front cockpit, you can leave the wings on to change the battery.
Correct, yeah.
Which makes it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
And the wings go on very simply with just a few screws, correct?
Mm-hmm. We can do that now if you want to.
Sure, let's go ahead and
you
put
hang on to that for a moment.
All right.
I always put the top one on because if I got the bottom one on, then it gets in the way of the top one. These I leave hooked up all the time, except if you have a repair to do. And the bottom ones are the same, except it has like a slot where you just slide it down in behind the washer. So kind of sort of works.
You got your screw there.
Yeah. These are actually just 440 by 1/4 inch socket head caps. And I never found a nylon screw that would shear when you want it to anyway, so. The servos are all Y-harnessed in solid. I just soldered them all together rather than using a whole bunch of connections and stuff that weighs more weight. If you build it light, it will fly right. So they tell me. I build them light, and I don't know. It seems like all mine just fly nice.
Before we put the bottom wing on, tell us a little bit about the landing gear as well and how you made it bungee.
Let me tighten this up for a second. The landing gear is actually 2 pieces of wire, figure eight brass wire, and then I just sew it back and forth like this until you get from the point down. I went about 1/4 inch, and then did the same thing with this wire coming up, and then soldered them all together. But in the middle, I used a 1/16 inch rubber band that's about 1.5 inches diameter. Put a little S-clip to the back here, and watch how it comes back.
Plenty of give.
Yeah, kind of like a J3.
Right.
Maybe.
Kind of like a bungee, yeah.
Yeah. The balsa wood wheels and wheel pants all together before covering. All 4 of everything weighs half of an ounce. So that kind of surprised me, you know. And the bottom wing plugs into as soon as I find it, the harness. That's a little different than just putting a wing on because you have to hook the struts together too, if you do it just right. And I got the washer not wanting to go where it should. And we'll put this in first. A lot of my building I did on my glass. I got a big piece of glass that I did the plans on also, and I did a lot of tracing with that set up. Come on, baby. There it goes. Kind of simple. Biplanes are never simple. So
All right.
there it is.
There it is, the finished model. So tell us a little bit about the flight characteristics for someone that wants to build this, and you know, obviously there's that nervousness about that first flight because you built it. So tell us what to expect. What did you experience?
The only problem that it had, and it wasn't a problem, was that when I did the first loop, it looked more like a 12-sided loop because I had too much elevator throw. So that's been geared down. It's on the plan like it should be. But other than that, I mean, it's rock solid in the sky and everything. Don't like to fly inverted. It likes to have a glide angle about like a half of an anvil. It'll glide about, you know, with the full power on it, still goes down about 45-degree angle. So you want to roll it over and get it out before it does the ground thing, you know. So
Obviously, it's capable of, you know, your basic aerobatics, loops, rolls, hammerheads, such.
probably. I've had it up about 10 times right now, and
Okay.
it's going to take some getting used to. But
What's the landing characteristics? How much power do you need to keep on? Is it difficult at all to land?
shut the power down, let her glide in.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you get a bad approach, you put the power back on and go around again.
Sure. What kind of flight times are you getting with the 800 milliamp battery? Roughly.
I'm thinking 10, 12 minutes easy. Yeah.
Is there any other information or tips that you'd like to share with our viewers about either building it or flying it or the project overall? Any last
Well,
thing?
actually, I used Coverite Microlite film on this.
Okay.
It's nasty stuff to work with because you get it together and it wants to stick to itself. They recommend you put talcum powder on it, but something in my head says it ain't going to stick as good if I do that. Yeah, probably does. And this is tower coat, basically the same reason. It sticks to itself, so I use tower coat instead of that to make the colors. Tower coat and the microlite iron's on about the same temperature. I don't even change my iron, so it's kind of nice for that. So I know I'm not burning up the microlite when I'm putting like monocoat on it. I did notice that when this shrunk in on the elevator rudder, and this is only 1/8 inch here, I did see where it opened up the hinge line, but it flies fine anyway.
One last thing I'll ask you about, obviously it's also going to be in the article and the plans, but how did you make the wheel pants?
Oh, the wheel pants are balsa, 5/8 balsa in the middle, 1/16 on both sides of balsa, hard as you can get. And then I have a plywood plate about like this. And that plywood plate, I took it on my belt sander and feathered the edges of it so it wouldn't look like a box, you know, back there. And you can't already tell it. You can tell it, but I didn't bother to fill it in with filler and make it really pretty. Like I probably should have, but it flies fine this way.
Well, it's a beautiful model, and we appreciate you bringing it in today so that we could talk to you about it, and the viewers could learn a little bit more about building it and how the inspiration came. And obviously, if you're interested in building this model, you can go to the AMA Plan Service and order a set of plans for it, or you can call us. You can call the Plan Service. You can order them off our website, or there'll be information as well in the magazine. So, Rhoe, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about your beautiful model.
Thank you for having me down here.
No problem.
Got to meet you too.
Absolutely.